Today, we're going to dive into something truly fascinating. It's a system from the Qur'an that's presented not just as a story, but as a universal law for survival. And believe it or not, it's all hidden inside a king's really perplexing dream. This is what the source material calls the green ear law.
So, let's start with a big question, one that we all face in some way. How do you protect what's coming tomorrow from what you desperately want right now? We all live with that tension. But what happens when an entire society faces that choice? Well, this dream we're about to explore seems to hold the key. So the story kicks off with this vision that really troubled the ruler of Egypt. But here's the thing. According to this interpretation, this wasn't just his dream. It's a pattern, almost like Adam's dream, that keeps repeating itself in every person and in every civilization across time. Okay, so here's the vision itself. The king sees 7 fat, healthy cows being literally devoured by 7 skinny, starved ones. And right alongside that image, he sees 7 beautiful green ears of grain, and then 7 others that are just withered and totally dry. This one vision puts a single massive question on the table that decides the fate of everything.
And really, this is the choice it all boils down to. Will the hunger of the present, those lean cows, end up consuming all the abundance we've stored for the future? Or will life itself, that potential represented by the green ears, be saved and protected? The entire blueprint we're talking about hinges on which path you take. Because you can't fight an idea like hunger with force. You have to have a plan.
All right, so to really get this plan, we have to become code breakers for a minute. We need to decode the symbols in this dream. And in the Quran, these images are incredibly precise. They aren't just poetic, they're like variables in a divine equation. Let's break these down. The fat cows? That's pure potential, abundance, energy, surplus. The lean cows represent what happens when that energy turns on itself, through unchecked consumption and waste. Now, the green ears? That's life that is saved, stored, and protected for later. And the dry ears? That's the tragic part. That's a memory without life, a structure that might still be standing, but is already dead on the inside.
And this is where we got a really critical insight. The dream is not saying that having abundance, the fat cows, is bad. The problem, the real danger, is letting that abundance be consumed by a totally unrestrained appetite for right now. The source material argues that this is the exact same fundamental choice Adam faced at the tree, immediate gratification versus a long-term preserved life.
So we've got the problem defined. Now enter the prophet Joseph, who delivers the solution. And he doesn't just offer some friendly advice. He lays out a fixed, lawful algorithm for survival, a crystal-clear set of instructions to escape this devastating cycle of boom and bust.
Let's just walk through this. First, for 7 years, you cultivate constantly, building up a surplus. Second, and this is so important, you leave what you harvest in its ear. You protect the seed, the very potential for the future. Third, you practice discipline, consuming only a little. This stored surplus is what carries you through the 7 hard years that are guaranteed to follow. And only after this entire cycle of discipline is complete does the final step happen. The rain, a symbol of mercy, finally returns.
Now get this. This isn't just about economics. The source material calls it spiritual thermodynamics. It's a fixed law. You build potential, you protect the future, and you restrain desire. Only then, as a direct consequence, does mercy arrive. It's a perfect, lawful chain of events. You absolutely cannot skip a step.
So what happens if you break the rules, if you ignore this protocol? This is one of the most powerful ideas in this entire explainer. The Qur'an gives us a stark, real-world example of what happens when a whole society chooses to consume everything now instead of preserving for later.
This verse paints a picture of a town that had it all: security, contentment, resources flowing in. But then it became ungrateful. Now, in this context, ungrateful basically means consumption without remembrance. It's forgetting where the blessings come from and just devouring them mindlessly. And the result isn't some random punishment. It's an automatic, built-in consequence.
When you put it side by side like this, it's just fascinating. The town doesn't fall because of an outside enemy. It collapses from within. The lean cows of its own unrestrained desire end up eating its security. Hunger and fear are simply the taste of a system that has eaten its own future.
Okay, so if this law is so universal, how does it apply outside of this one specific dream? There has to be a master key, right?
Well, the source connects Yusuf's detailed algorithm to a single powerful command given to another prophet, and this command is really the core principle for this whole system.
And here it is, the instruction given to Yahya or John the Baptist. Take the book with strength. Now, on the surface, that might seem completely unrelated to farming and famine, but inside this framework, it's the exact same law, just in its most concentrated, potent form.
Now this is the key to the whole thing. The book is the ultimate green ear. It's the seed vault of preserved, life-giving wisdom. And strength here isn't about physical muscle. It's the inner discipline to resist the constant pressure of your own desires and all the world's illusions telling you to just consume everything now. Without that strength, the book is just eaten like any other grain.
And this is where it all leads. This is the end game. When the laws followed correctly, that single protected green ear multiplies into a whole green garden. The Qur'an describes the people of paradise wearing green garments. And this isn't just about the clothes they have on, it becomes their very identity. It's a sign that life has been fully restored, that famine is impossible, and that all that discipline has resulted in a permanent, thriving reality.
Which brings us right back around to where we started, to that universal command. The entire system, this whole blueprint for survival, hinges on it. The king's dream is still speaking to us, and that choice is always right in front of us. So the question isn't just about economics or ancient history, it's deeply personal. Are you holding the book with enough strength to protect that green, living potential that's inside you? Because according to this explainer, that's the one question that determines your final harvest.